Welcome back. So now what we need to do is we need to go another step further. And we need to fully define some of these terms a little bit just to make sure that we're not going to get confused. The problem, though, is that it seems like when this can of worms get opened, it makes more people confused than what they were in the beginning. But it's something that we have to talk about, and it's something that we have to go through in order to fully understand what is happening in this field. Okay, so let's say that I have a red blood cell, and here I have a red blood cell. There we go. And on the surface of the red blood cell, I've got these proteins. So I'm just going to kind of draw a few that kind of stick straight up, and I'm going to put A's on them. All right, so these are the A proteins. There we go. And you have gotten that A blood cell from a blend of maybe your mother and your father. We said that those A's, we referred to them as proteins. However, we also said that the formal fancy name for this is agglutinogen. Agglutinogen. So these have the A agglutinogen on the surface of the red blood cell. And I think people are okay with that concept. We also said that if we didn't want to use the word agglutinogen, we could also call them antigens. And that's okay. They're interchangeable somewhat. So people are okay with that. Not a big deal. I think that's kind of common sense in a way, right? Okay, so if I've got a red blood cell, and let's say that this red blood cell has B on the surface. Well, guess what, people? We're not making it rocket science. All right? So these are B proteins that are on the surface of the cell. They are also going to be referred as the B agglutinogen. Or someone could refer to these as the B antigen. Okay, I kind of get it, right? That makes sense. There's kind of a trend here. The proteins on the surface of the cell are also called the agglutinogens, and they're also called the antigens. So I don't need to get confused when it comes around with that kind of stuff. All right, well, I do have another red blood cell, and this red blood cell maybe would have A and A, but it could also have B, and it could also have B. Well, the story's not changed. All right? That story is still, hey, you got proteins on the surface of the cell. But this time you have the A and you have the B agglutinogens. Or you have the A and you have the B antigens. So I think that that is okay for most people. They see that, right? And if this is where the discussion stopped, then I think everybody would be happy and we wouldn't have to worry about this anymore, but it doesn't. There's actually a other side to this story, and I want you to think of cup half full and cup half empty. There's two ways to see the same narrative. Well, what I've not drawn here, of course, is the red blood cell that doesn't have any protein on it. So no protein at all, which also means that there is no agglutinogens at all, which also means that there's no antibodies at all, or sorry, antigens at all. That is our O blood type, right? O does not have A or B. So the other half or narrative of the story is going to consist of this word called antibodies. So here I'm going to draw a dotted line, and I'm going to write the word antibodies on here. Okay, so here's what goes on. In your body, If you have the A red blood cell, those have A agglutinogens on the surface. Those also maybe have A antigens, same term, referencing the same thing. So your body will only recognize A. That means that if we put the red blood cell that has a B protein on it into you, you would look at this B protein, your body would, and would say, that's an invader. We need to kill it. And it will go out and it will attack it. Well, your body can't just be thrown off guard. It's got to be prepared for it. It's got to have soldiers in waiting. It's got to be able to go out and attack as soon as it happens. We can't wait around. And that is this term of antibody. Antibody, anti kind of means goes against, right? So if you have the A blood cell, your body actually will make B antibodies. Meaning that anytime it sees the B, it's going to send the antibodies out, which means goes against, and it's going to attack those red blood cells, and it will try to destroy them. Your B red blood cells would do the same. If you have B blood, your body has made the A antibodies. These are the soldiers. These are ones that's going to go and fight. What are they going to fight? They're going to fight anything that has the A protein on it. So as soon as an A red blood cell comes into the picture, your body will recognize it. It will know that the A is not supposed to be there, and it will send the soldiers that need to fight A out, and it will say, kill it. And that is the term of antibody. Your AB blood, if you are classified as that, well, if we want to look at antibodies, what are we going to fight? We can't really fight A because A is present. There's a problem. We can't really fight B because B is present as well. So if you have the AB blood type, you actually do not make any antibodies concerning the A or the B protein. Your body just doesn't make them because it is happy with either one. If red blood cells come into the picture that have A, that's all right. You've got A on your red blood cell. If a red blood cell comes in that has a B on it, your body's okay with that because your body has B on the red blood cells too. Somewhat universal in a way, right? So your body does not make any antibodies. It doesn't make any soldiers that will go out and fight on your behalf because it will not recognize the A or the B as a pathogen or something that it needs to destroy. Now, if you have the O blood type up here at the top, if you have the O blood type, your body, what does it do with antibodies? What kind of soldiers is it making? Well, that red blood cell does not have any protein on it. So that means it's going to make the A antibody. If A comes into the picture, it's going to recognize it as foreign and it will kill it. But your body doesn't have any B either. And it's going to make the B antibody as well. And if something comes into your system and you have O blood, and that has the A, or that has the B protein, or agglutinogen, your body will recognize it as foreign, and it will try to kill it. So if you have O blood, you are very particular. That means you can't just have anything that you want to have. O blood has no protein on it at all. And if I have O blood, and you give me something that is a red blood cell that has either A or B, my body is going to fight it. If you have AB blood, you just don't care. Your body is okay with anything, not a big deal. It's not making any soldiers to go out and fight against A or against B because you have them both. And this is going to lead us into the world of donor. Who can donate blood to who? Or acceptor. Who can accept blood from who? And that is going to be talked about in a completely different video. So what I wanted you to take away from here is this concept of an antibody. If your red blood cells have the A protein, we call that the A agglutinogen. We call that the A antigen. But your body is making B antibodies, things to go out and fight against. Anti means go against the B protein. And if it finds the B protein, the soldiers are waiting in line so they can go out and they can destroy it. All right? That's where the confusion happens. People get confused when we start using the word antibodies and agglutinogens and antigens because they can't ever keep them straight. And you need to think of antibodies as going against. And I know that antigen also has the word anti there. But that is one of the reasons that people seem to like agglutinogen a little bit better when they talk about these proteins on a red blood cell. That way they know for sure antibody goes against, and we can kind of keep these things straight. So what you're seeing on the chart right now is or the screen right now is a chart. And this chart basically breaks down the different types of blood. You see O, A, B, and AB. And then here you see a positive and a negative. We've not talked about those yet, but we will in the next video or so. So just kind of ignore this right now. But you're seeing basically where the common trends are in the human population. So it looks like 38.4% of the population, 1 in 3 people, give or take a little bit, are going to be O positive. And it looks like 32.3% of people, 1 in 3, are A positive. This is kind of weird though, right? Because we talked about statistics and we said, hey, listen, it looks like O is going to be the hardest one for you to get. But all of a sudden, I slap up a chart, and this chart basically says, look, if you take the O in consideration, you're looking at over 40-some% of the population carrying the O bloodline. Another thing that I want you to take away, just general knowledge here, is that different primates, if you believe in the concept of evolution, have been studied. And what we're finding out is that chimpanzees, what we've discovered already, is that chimpanzees always have blood type A. Never blood type B. Only A. That's it. If you take a look at the gorilla population, the gorillas have only blood type B. Never A. And then if you look at baboon actually has all three, A, B, and O. And here I've got a picture of each one. And what I liked about this is because this is you at the beginning of the semester, and this is you midway through the semester. Yeah, okay, I just don't care. Whatever happens, happens. And then when the finals come around, everybody goes crazy and scream and beg for extra credit. So which one of these are you? A, B, or ABO? We are actually closer to the baboon category, which explains all the crazy emails that I'm getting at the ends of the semesters when classes come around and finals. What I'm trying to get across is the concept that blood typing is genetic. But there is a breakdown. There is a breakdown of your previous history. Where do you come from? What's your genetic lineage? Not just your mother and father. What kind of family do you belong to? All of that plays a part in your blood. So if I was a chimpanzee, I would only have to worry about blood type A. Everyone has blood type A. There are no other choices. It's a very clean blood type. If I was a gorilla, the same story. I would have only blood type B. A very clean bloodline. But if I was a baboon, I have all three, and the question is why? Why do baboons show all three choices just like humans do? And how did all of this get started? In addition to that, you take a look at the map, and you're going to see a geological divide. On the map, if you look on the Western culture side of the map, on the west, Canada, United States, Mexico, South America, you're going to see mainly the O blood type in every single case. But if you look on the eastern side of the map, and you go to the countries of Asia, you start looking, and O is not the most common blood type anymore. It's now A or B. There is a geological divide in blood typing. Again, why? Why did this happen? How did it happen? Why are people on the western side of the world mainly O, but people in China and Japan are A's and B's? Doesn't quite make sense, does it? And then if you take a look at the racial divide, there is one. White non-Hispanics mainly have the highest rate of A. Right here. White non-Hispanics are the pink bar. Right there you go. And out of all of the categories, A, B, B, A, and O, the white population typically has the highest percentage of the A. If you take a look at black non-Hispanic, if you identify as the black non-Hispanic portion, chances are you're going to have higher levels of O. You don't really top out in any blood type, right? You look at the 4 areas on the chart, and the burgundy line that you're seeing on your screen, that never is the highest in any category. There's always someone beating it out. But if I had to pick one, it looks like you would be a pretty big leader in the O blood type. North American Indian, Native Americans. North American Indians are also the O category. Right there you are. Green bar. They're also very high in A, but whites beat them out. The Bs and the ABs you're pretty low in. If you're Hispanic, chances are you are an O blood type. And if you look at each category, Hispanics are the yellow bar. They're very low considering some of the others, but lo and behold, right up here at the O, you're beating everybody else out. And if you identify as Asian, you are probably AB or B, one or the other. Those are the peach bar colors that are showing up on your screen. And here we have a significantly higher portion of the graph in Asian. So that's B. And then here, they beat everyone else out too, and that's AB. So not only is there a geological divide, but there is also a ethnicity divide as well. The color of your skin will basically stereotype you in a way to a certain blood lineage. Now, you're probably going to go back to this map and say, well, now, wait a minute. You know, Hispanic, here is O. That is what we're typically seeing. A lot of the black population or someone with darker skin, you could almost identify them as South American in a way. So all of this kind of goes together. You also look at the African countries, and you also associate that country with darker skin as well. You see O that's showing up, and of course we know that migration has kind of happened into, right? So as far as the European countries, we're seeing a lot of A's that pop up, and then as we have traveled across seas and landed on the coast and began to populate the United States, or what was going to be the United States, we are seeing more of the A that kind of traverse over. So that's why maybe we're seeing the A stamped here. It doesn't matter. Your location and your skin color are going to help be a predictor of your blood type. Okay? So that's where I'm going to stop this video. In the next video, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about one more protein. And that protein is going to be that positive or that negative that you saw me present in this video. So we're going to talk about what that means and where that came from. And I give you maybe a little bit of X-Files case scenario too at the same time.